Welcome back to the EdTech Takeout. This is episode 119. I'm joined today by the official co-host, Gina Rogers. Welcome back, Gina.
Hello.
Hello. I feel like it's been a bit since we've been together.
Yeah, it's been, been together on the podcast.
Forever. We've been together forever,
We've been
actually.
together forever.
Yes.
Someday we're going to be trucking partners.
That's what we decided today.
Our retirement job.
Yes. And then we're going to have a different type of podcast.
It'll be
on the road.
On the road.
Of some sort. with Jindy.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So should we start with news and updates?
Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
So the first one I have down is that Google Bard, which was the Google version of ChatGPT. It's the BardAI.
Mm-hmm.
Google BardAI. I don't know what the official name of it was.
Yeah. BardAI.
BardAI. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Has now changed its name because that's what we do.
Yep.
To just Gemini. I'll do my Just Jack fingers. Just Gemini.
Just Gemini.
Just Gemini.
We don't know why. Gemini AI.
Oh, is it?
Which sounds
you don't know.
Funny.
The look on her face, she has no idea. She's just making that up.
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it is. But
we don't know why.
No. Like, it went from being a stodgy old man writer to, I don't know, a 1970s disco king.
Sure.
Of some sort. I don't know why. I think I started to read an article on this and I was like, I probably don't really even need to know this information.
I think I actually said that, like, why are we wasting our time on this, Gina? And now we started talking about it. We don't know the answer.
Yep. I just need to know that the name has changed.
Yes, that is correct. So if you hear anybody talking about Gemini, you'll know that is formerly known as Google Bard. Mm-hmm. Something else that I found on Twitter/X, speaking of name changes, is this Google Doodle contest, which I feel like this is maybe a thing, but I have never seen it before. So for Google's 25th birthday, did you know that? It's their 25th birthday this year. How does that make you feel? Old or
yeah?
Happy birthday,
old.
Google.
Happy birthday.
They're inviting K-12 students to create a image that then can help you win a big prize for your school. So the prizes are $55,000 in scholarships, $50,000 in tech for your school, if you have the winning art feature on google.com. Mm-hmm. So we have a link that Gina will put in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about that. But there's some examples here. So if you're looking to do something like this with your students, there's, some examples that you could take a look at with them. So I thought it was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. And so it looks like the theme is my wish for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
And so developing a piece of art that incorporates also the Google letters, logo in it, to illustrate what the wish or what your wish for the next 25 years would be.
Yeah, so that'd be kind of fun.
When I turned 25, it was awesome.
Thank you for that. I bet Google's not celebrating in the same way.
They're probably not.
Probably not. Okay, so something else. I think this is actually a January update, but I'll mention it because I just shared it with a bunch of teachers and it was new to them. So I'm sure it'll be new to many of you that Seesaw has added some instructional templates that you can go in and edit. So imagine like character profiles or, things like that are not generic, but that you could go in and kind of personalize for your topic or for your students. A ton of them, a ton. So to find those, you would go into your Seesaw Library, click on Daily Routines, and then you have to scroll down. I think it's like maybe the second row, and Instructional Templates is one of those options. So you click on that box, and it'll open up all these new instructional templates to take a look at.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I guess the final news and update piece that we have for today is that Pear Deck is now rebranded to being called Pear Deck Learning.
Mm-hmm. Did you see I put on the show notes Pear Decking instead of Pear Deck Learning?
Yeah, no, it's Pear Deck Learning.
It's feedback for them. I prefer Pear Decking.
Make it a verb.
I'm going to go ahead and fix that now for you. Continue, please.
So, Pear Deck Learning, not just Pear Decking. So Within Pear Deck Learning, there's several different tools that are in there. They've kind of rebranded some things that GoGuardian had owned previously. Right. So Edulastic has been rebranded as Pear Assessments. So with our subscription in Iowa to Pear Deck, one of the tools that you will have available to you is also going to be Pear Practice. And so you won't have all of those tools that are in Pear Deck Learning available.
You can. It's just an additional fee that the school district would have to pay for.
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, sure. I didn't know. Did you know that? Did I speak over top of you? I apologize.
No,
Continue.
It's okay. You can Mindy-splain me.
Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry. My apologies.
But so Pear Practice is one of those tools that you will have access to. And so Pear Deck or Pear Learning has a library of practice sets that you are able to go into. You can create a class and then assign those practice sets to students as independent practice. You can also pull those practice sets as a way for you to do a game or learning activity with students. And it was pretty cool, pretty slick. Yep. We need to dig into it a little bit more. It's one of those things that happened not very long ago, and so we don't have a full assessment on it, but we just wanted to make you all aware that shift has happened.
Yeah, and while you were babbling there, I'm not sure. Did you mention that it also kind of learns students as they go? So the more they practice, the more adaptive it becomes. Did you say that? Or?
I did not say that.
I apologize. Okay. I didn't want to take the words out of your mouth again.
Nah, it's okay.
Okay. All right. So some good stuff. Mm-hmm. Should we move it along?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So up next, main course served to you piping hot is the National EdTech Plan of 2024. Mm-hmm. Wow, it sounds delicious, doesn't it?
It sounds like a big meal. That's for sure.
No, yeah, you did say that. Okay, so whether or not you know, I'm not sure that people know this always, that there is a National EdTech Plan that comes out, and this National EdTech Plan kind of examines how technology is at work within our schools, elementary to secondary. Mm-hmm. And within that plan, it offers examples of different schools and districts and classrooms, states doing some of this different work with ed tech, and then also talks about some solutions that they'd like to offer when it comes to access and design and use of technology to support learning.
Mm-hmm. It's put out by the Office of EdTech, mm-hmm. which is a division of the Department of Ed mm-hmm. in the federal government.
Right.
And it is very much based in research,
right.
best practices,
right.
And gives a really clear idea of what the Office of EdTech is seeing as maybe our seminal challenges in the EdTech space.
Yeah. So the way that we use this as a team is we look at these three different categories and then kind of do some, I would say self-reflection of our work and how we align some of the things that we're seeing with our school districts too, and how we might support learning moving forward. So just to make sure that we're clear, if you haven't looked at this before, the digital use divide that they discuss within the National EdTech Plan would address inequitable implementation of, I'm reading this directly so I don't mess it up, inequitable implementation of instructional tasks supported by technology. So what that means is what our students are being asked to do, and if they're actively using technology or if they are just being consumers of technology. Our hope is that they are analyzing and building and creating and producing with technology, but we know that on the other hand, that it could just be that students may be kind of passively consuming text or videos or something like that. So mm-hmm. really starting to look at the comparisons between those two types of usage and how we can kind of bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm. And in this particular portion of the EdTech Plan, the kind of guiding star that that this particular portion anchors itself to is the idea of the portrait of a graduate. And so as districts are sitting down and thinking about the types of experiences that they want for their students in their classrooms, they really need to project out further and think a little bit about, what would a student look like who graduated from this particular K-12 system? What would we want for that student? And then kind of backwards design from there. Okay, so if we want students who are critical thinkers, or we want students who are creators, what are the things that have to happen within the classroom in order to make those things happen? And how do we prepare our teachers to offer them those experiences?
Yeah, and if I think then about how our work connects to those types of things, in the past, I always feel like this connects really well with any of our makerspace activities that we used to share so often, talking about kids connecting real world situations or hands-on learning. When we used to, talk so much about the makey-makeys or robots and things like that, and really encouraging students to be creative. What else do we have, Gina?
I mean, all of the CS work that we've been doing, yeah. I think really inspires students to be creators or problem solvers, utilizing technology. I would also say that the transformative classrooms work that we engage in really supports teachers in thinking about ways to create more active learning experiences for students, and to have them actively processing that content. And some of those ways might be online ways, and some of those ways might be offline ways.
Yeah, and I think the more we've grown too in our knowledge and have seen the integration of technology in lots of different ways is that, our voice is always that we integrate technology to make it a more powerful experience. We don't integrate technology just for the sake of integration. And I think you bring up a good point that transformative classrooms really, I think, mirrors those ideas and values that we have.
I would also say that our team really focuses a lot on how do we level the playing field for all of our learners in the classroom by utilizing technology. And so leaning into the idea of universal design for learning, and how do we leverage tech tools like screen readers or things like Flip that allow students to show what they know without having to necessarily write or use a skill that they're not as adept at. So how can we design using digital tools to reduce barriers for learners and make it a more level playing field?
Yeah, and I think that leans then right into the digital access divide, which that portion of the National EdTech Plan then talks about not only equitable access to connectivity and devices and digital content, but kind of what you're talking about too is that making sure that the digital tools that we provide for students really help them access content, not only just for some students that it's necessary for, but allowing those tools to be accessible to all students that might find it very beneficial. The other part of that, actually our team, when we were looking through this, we talked about how we've kind of gotten away from the conversation and that maybe we need to come back to this more than we have recently, but also instruction about our digital health and safety and citizenship skills. I feel like, man, when I first started at the agency, I feel like we were talking about digital citizenship pretty heavily, and that maybe is a conversation that we're not having as often as we had years ago when technology was first being integrated into classrooms.
Yeah, and I'd say, like, to piggyback off of what you just said, the vast explosion of AI as an emerging technology, I think makes that conversation and bringing it back to the forefront even more important.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden there's, this new emerging technology that we have our students engaging with, and we want to make sure that we equip them with the skills to be good stewards of that technology, good users of that technology, and also critical users of that technology to determine whether or not what is being produced by the generative AI or the large language model is in fact valid and correct, or if it's a complete hallucination, which we all know that the large language models are prone to do from time to time.
Occasionally. I'm glad you bring that up, because then as a team, one of the ways that we are addressing that is recently we've been engaged in an AI for Educators workshop. So we're starting to share with educators, first of all, what AI is and addressing some of the misconceptions around AI, and really starting to have conversations with teachers about when is it okay for our students to use AI, what is okay to put into AI, what values do we have around that, what are our thoughts around it, what does our district think about it, and then also how we can use AI as educators to maybe provide other opportunities for our students by, I love to put stuff into AI just to see if it can make my idea better. And even as a teacher, to put in a prompt of some sort and then say, now can you give me some ideas of how I can make this accessible to different types of learners, just to help me think outside the box too. So we got a little off of the digital access divide, but I think we addressed some important concerns about AI too.
I think we came back to the next one. No, we came back to the digital use divide though as well. Like just the idea of AI and how we want to make sure that we are creating experiences for students where they are engaged with this emerging technology in some way. They have to know how powerful this is and how it's going to change their world of work, or have some sort of an idea of what the ramifications of using this might possibly be.
Right.
And so we need to make sure that is addressed in all of our classrooms.
Yeah, right. Which, like you said, kind of brings us also to the digital design divide, which is inequitable access to time and support of professional learning for our teachers, educators, and practitioners, to make sure that we've built their professional capacity to design these learning experiences for our students. And I think this is a really important thing to think about, because this is kind of our direct connection. We provide professional learning, and how do we do the best we can to provide equitable professional learning across all of our school districts? We cover a pretty broad range of miles. Just the sheer miles that we cover, but really making sure that we're talking with teachers and giving the opportunities for all of our teachers to engage in this type of learning.
And for sure, that's our core work as well. I think that responsibility of schools and different systems is to provide the time and opportunity for those types of learning experiences to occur, and those types of coaching conversations to happen. I've been pretty, just discouraged the past few years, because I feel like that we've approached technology integration and digital learning as a thing of like, well, we've done that, check. Check it off the box. And I think that with the genesis of these large language models and generative AI, that might be shifting people's minds about that a little bit. That maybe we haven't checked the box completely. But I do think that that's an important consideration, is that we need to ensure that teachers have the time and space to do this important learning, and to think about how can I best design my learning experiences for the students that I am envisioning graduating from my particular system.
That's a really great point. I would also, this is something that what you said made me think of it, and I can't remember what the connection was, but one other thing we wanted to point out too is that within the National EdTech Plan, and I think I mentioned this when I kind of explained maybe what the purpose of it is that they offer some solutions or ideas around how to attack some of these problems or some of these gaps that we might see. And one of those things is offering, then we talked a little bit about digital tools, and accessibility is that the state of Iowa, our Iowa AEAs have done a fantastic job of doing consortium pricing. And actually, this is not mentioned about the state of Iowa, but it is a solution within the National EdTech Plan, is that hopefully you can do some negotiating with the large amount of numbers that you have and do some consortium pricing. And our Iowa AEAs have done a fantastic job of bringing down the cost of these tools. Before the podcast, Gina and I were talking about how one of the I would say guiding factors, I don't know if guiding is the right word, but when we first started sharing tools, we would, try and place a tool with what the purpose for that tool would be. But one of our guiding factors would be that it was free, because schools were really struggling to try and pay for a tech tool or a subscription to something. And we're kind of getting away from that. Like you had said, Gina, about they're not trying to hook us anymore. We're hooked on different tech tools. And so that freemium has now become premium, and we're looking now that we do need to pay. And so if you haven't looked into some of those consortium pricing that the Iowa AEAs have, make sure that you do that, because it does help make things much more affordable. And that's how our media and tech dollars are being put to use across the state, is together we get to bring those prices down to make it more accessible to more students.
Working together as a collective is in everyone's benefit.
Right.
And it helps bridge that digital access divide.
So that's kind of some of the things that we would like or wanted to highlight about the National EdTech Plan. I think Gina was planning on linking it. It's a really substantial document. So don't think you're going to sit down and read it in 20 minutes. I mean, I think it's like 115 pages or something like that.
It's
so
lengthy.
Yeah. So if you want to take a look at it, please do so. I always look forward to reading it when it comes out, because I just think it's very insightful. And I think it really aligns with what our core values are here at Grantwood AEA, and also as a digital learning team as well. All right. Up next.
Tasty nuggets.
Tasty nuggets. Bring on the tech nuggets. Oh, I noticed you only put one on here. Do you want me to go first then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then it would be
Yeah, no, I know. So you don't feel so bad. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So my first one up is from Jared from Williamsburg. He shared this Mac app called Caffeine for Macs. Now, what I love about this is because when you're presenting, so not just me as a, professional learning presenter, but even as teachers, if you have your computer plugged in and you're presenting something up on your screen, your computer goes to sleep, then you got to walk over, put the password in, wake it back up again. So this Caffeine for Macs is a Mac app that shows up kind of in the right-hand corner of your Mac. And when you click it, it just keeps your computer on, and it's a little coffee cup.
I know, it's so cute.
Yes. So it's kind of a nice way just to have a quick button to push to keep your computer awake, as opposed to having to go into your settings and fix that or whatever. Yeah.
And some of you Mac users might be like, you can go into your settings.
Yes.
And yes,
we know.
But I like clicking that coffee cup
There's
and
something
just
about the coffee
not
cup.
having to think about
Yes.
it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm presenting. Click the coffee cup.
Right.
Don't go to sleep. Not like,
I know, but if you go into your settings, then it doesn't ever go to sleep. Then the next time, your battery's dead because it's been running nonstop for a day, whatever.
For sure.
So try that one.
Try it.
Yes.
Don't judge us.
Right.
All right. So the nugget that I am going to share today is it's a big nugget. It's a tool that I just became acquainted with in the past, I guess, month and a half or maybe 2 months, called School AI. And so there's a lot of these AI tools that are specifically geared towards educators that are floating around. So Magic School AI, EduAid. What I really like about School AI is that as a teacher, you can create a custom chatbot for your students to interact with. And so you can give the chatbot some parameters that you want them to give the students feedback on or guidance on. So I set one up for helping my students write a persuasive paper on whether LeBron James or Michael Jordan was the best basketball player of all time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I just set some rules for how the chatbot was to interact with the students. But then once your students start interacting with the chatbot, it creates a kind of a roster or a list of your students.
Oh, okay.
And you can click in and look at how each one of the students is interacting with the chatbot.
I like that.
And then it also gives you insights into what your students might be struggling with. So, for example, I learned about this from my friend Andrew, who I would collaborate with a lot. So we were messing around with this, and he was pretending to be a student that was trying really hard to get this chatbot to write his paper for him. And then, like, the little headline summary of Andrew's interactions with the school AI chatbot was that Andrew is trying to get this me to write his paper, basically, is what it said.
Funny.
And then, like, gave me some ideas of how I might interact or support Andrew.
Oh, nice.
And so I thought that was really interesting. And you can do kind of just like a quick, like, visual look at each of your students, but you can dig in deeper. You can look at the transcript of exactly what they've said to the chatbot, how the chatbot has responded to them. You can send their interactions to someone. So if you have to share them with someone else, you can do that. It creates like a kind of a transcript of it. And so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Additionally, they have some other features that are built in there too that are specifically for teachers. So there's some different, what do they call them, assistants in there. So there's an AI and education assistant, and you can ask that assistant chatbot like really specific questions about how to use AI in education or whatever. So they've got some different assistants, instructional design assistant, coaching assistant, things like that. And then there's also some things that are called, I think they're called spaces in there, which are just already pre-created chatbots to support students. So one of the teachers that we're working with right now with our AI quote heart, she was really excited because there was a lot of spaces in there that were like ELL spaces that were designed for students who were acquiring English to practice their English usage. And then they also like, they were customized for what their primary language was too, and interacting then in English. Nice. So I think it's pretty cool.
That is a pretty powerful nugget. It probably
it's
equal to mine too.
Nugget.
A huge nugget.
It's basically.
It's almost a tender, if you will.
I was going to say it's a lip.
Oh.
One of those big chicken lips.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Not a tender?
We call them lips in
You
Iowa
do?
City. I don't know.
Because they're
okay. Weird.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth. I did not say you were weird. Are you ready for my next one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this one is kind of an interesting one, and it was new to me, but I doubt it's new, and it's called Stickity. And I really like visual things. And so I know you were really excited when they added stickers or whatever to Google Slides. Are they called stickers?
Yes, there's
And I thought that was
stickers,
dumb. You were so
and
excited. But I'm going to
gifs.
eat my words here. I'm going to eat my words.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay. So I think that was dumb. I didn't really care about that. I mean, I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, everybody made a big deal. I'm like, I've been putting images in slides forever, right? So I came across these Stickities, and they are more education-based stickers to put, so you can add it as a add-on into Google Docs or in Google Slides. But these slides or these stickers say things like on the right track, or much better, or great use of vocabulary, or cite, elaboration needed. So they could be feedback stickers. But what I think is really great about this is that they also come with their own alt text for students using screen readers, and they meet all of the guidelines for accessible color contrast.
Nice.
I know. So I like that they are very education-based type stickers, and it might be something that if you're really into the whole sticker phenomenon, then this might be something for you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's it.
Yep.
Because you didn't have another nugget.
I didn't have another nugget.
Right.
I had
almost forgot. I left it. There was a weird pause
there. I had
there.
a rotisserie chicken.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I had.
Just beat that joke.
I had a rotisserie chicken.
Okay.
And I just laid on you.
So make sure that if you have any questions or comments, you reach out to us at podcast@gwaea.org. But until next time.
This has been the EdTech Takeout. We hope it hit the spot.